Hello, hi. This is the Friday Night Deploys, brought to you by the DevPlebs. This is the web development podcast show where we talk about web development and everything that's not web development. My name is Phil, and here next to me is Keith.
That's me. I am exactly one half of the DevPlebs, not in body weight, but I am working on that. I'm on a diet.
And you look amazing.
Thank you. Ask me how it's going.
How's your diet
I'm so
going?
glad you asked. It's going well.
Oh, that's
Thank
good.
you for that positive reinforcement.
It's good conversation.
Yeah. This is exactly what people tuned in for.
Did you know that I'm on a diet?
Are you?
No.
Oh.
But you didn't say anything about it.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I'll be more sensitive to your needs on episode 2.
You. I am sensitive.
This is episode 1. So we're really excited that you're joining us. If you are joining us. Right now we're just talking to a microphone, but assuming that we have an audience tune in, we're happy that you're here.
At least one person.
At least one person. Just give us that validation. Yeah. Give us that little bit.
You guys suck.
Who was that?
Thank you.
Who said that?
Thank you.
So this is, as Phil mentioned, a show about web development. Boy. So in that vein, we're going to talk about kind of a couple of our own personal wins of the week. You know, we thought about doing news, and we're like, that's only really going to be relevant for the week that it comes out.
And also, nothing happens in web development. It's just a stagnant, boring industry.
It's
where
true.
Nothing happens.
Now, if we were in accounting,
then
we'd have so much to talk about.
Money's so exciting.
I mean, money's pretty exciting.
It is pretty
I wish
exciting.
I had more of it. I could really use that.
Every time I get a paycheck, I just laugh when I see it. It makes me so excited.
I don't know if that's the reaction you should be having, but you know what? I'm not one to judge you.
Giggle.
I don't like that. I don't like that word. No. So if you're still with us after that, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about our own little personal wins over the week. That could be, just projects we were on, or maybe something we learned, or, something from our personal life in case you want to get to know us a little better. And then we're going to go into a topic, because every good podcast focuses on a topic, and you need something for the title.
Yeah, we have to talk about something.
Yeah, we need something.
Honestly.
Something, yeah.
Please tell us. We don't know what we're talking about. Please tell us.
Yeah, so without further ado, do you want to talk about your wins of the week, Phil?
Sure. So the first thing I did, I'll keep it really fun, and I'll keep it work-related to start with. I worked on a lot of image optimization stuff for my full-time work, and that was pretty cool. It's one thing that I've had to do a few times, and what I got to do this time around was use something called a srcset. It's a HTML like native thing that you can do now for the browser. And what you just essentially do is just pass it just like a number of images rather than just one image source. And they have to be different kind of sizes. And you can attach next to it what the size of that image is going to be pixel-wise, like how wide is it going to be in its natural size. And what you can do with that is nothing. Because the browser does it for you. It's just a suggestion to the browser, and it just chooses the best one based on the images you gave it. And that's really cool. And the next thing you can do with it is a sizes attribute, which kind of gives a suggestion of srcset, an extra nudge. And with that, you just kind of give it information about the size of the image slot. And you can give it breakpoints for every single image size slot that you've defined. So that way you can tell the browser to, at a mobile screen, this image slot is going to take like 100% of the viewport width. And then in a tablet view, it's going to take like 50%, and the desktop can take like 30%. And that way, again, the browser will just do everything for you as the screen size changes. It'll download the image, the largest image it needs first, and then it'll work its way up. So if you're a nutcase and you're changing your screen size as you go through your content, like I always do, then it won't just keep downloading different images. It'll just download the largest one you have. And that's pretty cool. I got to present that work to, and I got to show the entire department that we could save a couple of megabytes of image downloads on our homepage, which was at the time just over half of the percentage. So that was really cool.
Look at you go.
I know, it was fun.
Yeah. Little optimizer.
That's me, which is great because I've worked with image optimizations before in an application, and the last time I did it, it was kind of crap. And it was because the data we were working with was super unreliable, so I had to build this crazy React component that would just magically do this like recursive fallback of like, does this image exist? No, well, try use this. If it doesn't exist, then you use a different one, and then if all else fails, use its placeholder. And like, it worked, but it was terrible. If everything didn't have an image, you would see everything flicker for 2 seconds until the placeholder image would come up.
Sounds like a great user experience.
It's amazing. What else did I do?
What else did you do?
Well, the next thing I did was I don't speak usually at all. I remain quiet at all times.
It's true. He's very suspicious. He just sits in the corner of the room, silently judging everyone. It's
folded arms. There was a tech meetup in our local town where we both live, and I got the chance to be a talker, and that was cool. I didn't talk about anything technical because it was my first time. I kept it highlighted with like problems that a developer can face as they grow into more intermediate and senior developers, or even if someone wants to get into web development. So I just kind of went through some topics there. That was kind of fun. It was really nervous. There wasn't like that many people, but
there was a decent amount of people that showed up. There's like more than last time we went.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too many people there until
they start booing you.
Yes, they all did that immediately. They just saw me walk in the room. They didn't even know I was speaking, and they just booed me out the room.
It's because they knew about the podcast.
Yeah, they knew.
So it was a preemptive boo.
I was like, oh, he's going to start this Friday Night Deploy podcast, and that guy sucks.
Yes.
But anyway, that was cool. Most of them were students, and it was a good way, I think, to kind of just poke my head in that section. So I think I'm going to do some more stuff with that. But it felt good to wrap it up and finish it off.
You know what? I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
And I have absolutely zero bias partnering with you on this podcast.
No.
But no, you did a really good job. And I think everyone in that room did get some value out of that talk because, again, like 95% of them were students. And I know a lot of them had come up to us after the talk and were asking about how they can get started in development. And I think you brought up a lot of good points.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, and some bad ones.
And some really bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was probably the greatest part about that, actually, was the people coming up afterwards. I didn't think anyone was really going to come up and ask any questions or just even talk to us. But I think, honestly, that was actually the best part about that, was having people just come up and wanting to just talk and have a one-on-one talk, or even have, like, extra questions about, like, certain things. So that was definitely cool, and it definitely...
Is it because they tickled your ego?
They definitely did. They just like, oh, you're such a good talker, and I was like, oh, thank you, and they're like,
Mr. Senior Developer,
Mr. Senior Developer,
teach me tricks.
I have all the tricks. I have all the secrets to make you a 6-figure salary. If you keep listening to the podcast, if you get to episode 99, that's when we give you the secret to a 6-figure salary.
We actually drop one keyword in each episode, and then in episode 99 you use all of those keywords and you can decrypt a secret message, and that is how you achieve your 6-figure salary.
It says pay this low price of $997 and that's that. No, it definitely sparked some interest. Definitely want to go back and do more talks. I have more ideas for more talks, so that's going to be something I want to pursue going forward. That's pretty cool. Oh, what's another win? I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she's found anime.
Wait, you have kids?
Yeah, I have kids.
Oh,
I have 2, in fact.
I don't know if this podcast is going to work out.
No.
I really need you to commit your entire...
I can commit.
All right.
I can commit. I can put them somewhere. I'll deal with it. My 3-year-old's found anime, and it's been hilarious to watch. As someone who, spoiler alert, does actually like a little bit of anime here and there, I have
just lost our audience.
Yeah.
They all just closed their browser window.
Or we have a whole new set of audience, a whole new one.
That's, you know what? This is now an anime podcast. It's
become an anime podcast. But I've not really been exposing her to any of my anime. She's gotten really into Pokemon recently. She started watching just Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then she started watching one of the Pokemon movies, one of the new ones. That was really, really good. I actually sat down and watched it, and it was really cool. And then now she's been watching the original Pokemon series. So it's been all Pokemon for a while. And she's even come to the point where she's now rehearsing the speech or the intro that Jesse and James have from Team Rocket. One time I caught her sleeping in the middle of the night, and she was saying the intro to it in her sleep almost, and it was hilarious. And now she's kind of branched out away from Pokemon. She's not watching any more anime per se.
She's on Attack on Titan.
she's on Attack on Titan now. She's watching One Piece. It's weird.
I don't even know how she found it. She has her own Crunchyroll account.
She's paying for it. She's got a job.
She's not paying for it because this podcast is sponsored by Crunchyroll.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No,
I can't legally say that.
It would be great if you guys did.
Yeah. They're like as if they're listening.
Yeah, they are. Crunchyroll itself is listening. And they want to sponsor the DevPlebs podcast.
They love all of the web development we've talked about.
Yeah, we love web development. We should make a web development anime.
We could.
We could make it.
We could do it.
Yeah.
Is there a need for it, though?
Obviously.
Oh, okay. It's good enough for me.
It could be a story about someone who dies and gets reincarnated as a Python developer.
Why do... I don't understand the whole death element, but you know what? Roll with it.
You have to watch the show and find out.
That's true.
But she's gone on to watching another show called Miraculous Ladybug, which I think is actually more popular with kids, like more kids in general these days. It's a little bit more of a mainstream thing. It's not anime, but it's definitely anime inspired from watching it. They have like transformations and stuff, and it's like superheroes. And I've caught her doing the transformation dances.
Has she successfully transformed?
Yes. I'm not supposed to say, but yes.
Well, you know what? Now the whole world knows because everyone is tuned in right now.
Secret identity is gone out the window during episode 1. I'm sorry. And then my 2-year-old, he just says the F word when he tries to say fox, and he yells it, and that's really funny. That's
pretty good.
That's a win for me.
You know what? That's better than any of my wins. Yeah. So.
What are your wins been like this week?
You know what? My wins have been pretty good. Pretty good. I also did a talk, which you did mention, and my talk was a little more technical. And as soon as you asked the audience how many were students, and I saw 95% of the hands go up, I was like, uh-oh, my talk is not. Because before that, all right, to be fair, before that I had been a number of times, and most of the people were in the workforce or had completed school. So I made my talk a little more technical because based on the past audience, I was like, yeah, I think this is a pretty good difficulty level.
Yeah, and to be fair, you kept asking me if it was becoming too technical, and I was like, nah, just go for it.
Yeah, so you were really the bad influence. Yeah. It was on functional programming, and I got pretty textbooky with it. It was very wordy. There was a lot of words on my slides. And I felt kind of bad because, like, I'd be reading through my slides and I'd look out and there would be a lot of confused faces. And I'm like, oh, no. Because, like, I went to that school. I know what everyone is learning. Everyone's doing, like, basic Java right now. And I just threw a bunch of slides about how much I hate Java into it. So, really, I didn't know my audience very well.
Yeah, they're only doing Java for computer programming, and then they have a web design course. They do a little bit more JavaScript early on, but but going down to a specific programming paradigm is a little.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much it resonated with the audience, but I enjoyed my talk, and I will reuse it again in the future. I'm not sure when, but I will find an opportunity because I put a lot of work into that.
I mean, hey, if you're listening and you were at that talk, because we did plug this podcast to be released.
Yeah.
And we're gonna question next time we come to North OT, we're gonna question everyone. Did you listen to the podcast?
Yeah, and I felt kind of bad because I was hoping that we would have a podcast ready before plugging it. It's really weird plugging something that doesn't exist yet.
It was really funny because we both had the slides ready, so we just got to them. We're like, is this podcast from us weirdos? We don't have a link yet.
But you know what? I bet they're all eagerly waiting at home, just refreshing.
We've built suspense.
Where's this podcast?
I can't see the Slack chat. No one's put anything in the Slack chat. Maybe it's somewhere else. I'll Google search it. 2 random guys doing a podcast about web development. Can't find anything.
I'm sure we're not the first ones to do it.
But yeah, if you were there and you're listening, I'm sure there's somewhere you can comment on wherever this goes.
Yeah, please just make me feel better because...
Just try and validate Keith.
Yeah.
Or you can just tell him that he sucks.
You know what? I'll take either.
I need engagement.
But yeah, no, I do enjoy doing talks, even though that one was definitely one of my rougher ones. But I do a lot of like learning by doings at work. I've done live coding in the past, which
scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, and it's actually gone really well for me, except for the last time I did it.
Oh no.
I was doing a WebAssembly demo, and I was porting Tetris from C++, and it did not compile. It completely broke, and I had no idea why. Because I had done a couple of run-throughs leading up to it, and it was perfectly fine. And then when I went to do it live, it just completely broke, and I was like,
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, see you next week.
Tetris.
On Friday Night Deploys. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
That's where you ran off to.
Well,
you ran off from your live
I
coding.
just sprinted out of the room.
I need to do a podcast.
Didn't even bring my laptop with me. But I did actually have like the actual completed files, so I just ran that instead. And just like pretend that this worked the first time. Pull the fast one on you.
That's the secret to being a programmer. Is you just type a bunch of random stuff, but then you just keep the completed work in your back pocket, and you just throw that up and go, ta-da!
Yeah, so besides the talk, I got podcast hosting sorted out.
Yay!
That has been something that has been just a pain in my ass.
It sounded like it.
Was, because, like, there's so many different options out there, and they're all so expensive.
Yeah, it turns out things cost money, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Why can't everything just be free?
Why can't I steal it?
Just NPM install podcast hosting.
This podcast sponsored by stealing things.
Please steal.
Yeah, please steal this podcast. We're giving it for free, but steal it if you can. Yeah, so podcast hosting has been a battle. The first platform that we're using actually transforms your audio files when you import them, which I didn't love because it also only supported mono channels, and the intro, as you will have heard, throwback to the beginning of the episode, has stereo panning from the left to right channels, and it kind of flattened it and then made everything sound awful. And I was like, well, this isn't going to work. But then I couldn't migrate it because the audio file was transformed.
Oh, see, that's the most messed up part when you were telling me about it, is that they actually modified the original file, which seems nuts.
Yeah, I did not love it. So, left them. Bye-bye.
Bye.
NSYNC.
Yes.
That was a contender for the worst.
Killer.
Yeah, so now everything seems to be good. I like our new host. They feel a little outdated in terms of the UI, but I don't really care too much about that. All I care about is they can host my podcast, and they don't transfer my audio files, and everything is easy. One-click publish. It goes everywhere I need it to go. Bada bing.
Baba ganoush.
Yep, that's the saying.
Whoop.
So that's that. And then, yeah, also, I'm starting a new job.
What? Where are you starting your job, Keith?
I'm starting a job with you.
What? No way.
It's true. I just can't get enough of you.
It's almost
we've actually worked. This could be the third time that we've worked together.
This is why we started a podcast, because we're just always together. So we just figured we had to talk into a microphone.
Yeah, it's yeah. So this is the third time we're working together.
Yep.
And it's not that I had any sort of issue with my past employer. I think they're a very good employer. I think other people should go and work for them because they're doing great work. They've got a lot of cool clients, and they're doing a lot of cool things.
Yeah, you sound like you had a good time, though.
I did. But as it is, it just didn't quite align with what I'm currently looking for. So, which is you. You're what I'm looking for.
Yeah, just always looking wherever I am. There's no Phil here. Where's
Yeah.
the Phil?
We need to launch the DevPlebs empire. It's a $1 million idea.
It's a company where it's all just Phils and Keiths, and no one wants to go there.
Wow, that's... Yeah, so step 1, make a brand. Step 2, I don't know yet. But step 3, there's lots of money.
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm really excited for step 3.
Once we find step 2, It's going to be great.
If anyone knows where step 2 is, please let us know.
Yeah, please tell me.
Please. We're on Twitter. Just come and be like, hey, this is step 2.
Send me a link to step 2.
Please. New merch idea. T-shirt, step 2.
Step 2, please.
And no one will understand it.
Yeah.
Unless you are one of the 3 people listening to this podcast. Am I getting optimistic thinking that 3 people are going to be listening to this?
No.
We got to keep positive. We got to keep positive.
It's going to be at least like 4.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm already stepping it up.
Let's not get too crazy, all right?
3.5.
Where is your modesty? 1/2. That's your kid. You're going to force your kids.
Yeah, I'm going to force my kids. You need to listen. Every time we go for a drive, I'm going to play it in the car.
That's how we're going to get the plays.
You guys aren't listening to it. You need to stop talking. I don't want to hear it.
We're going to miss out on all of the excellent jokes.
Yeah, you missed my joke. How are you going to get it? How are you going to get this? I'm not going to give you the t-shirt if you don't get the joke.
Yeah, your children are also going to be the first guests on this podcast.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, I hope that your son drops the F-bomb.
Yeah, it'll just be the entire time. He'll just be dropping the F-bomb and laughing about it. So that'll be great. He'll be a great guest.
Yeah, new job. It's exciting. I don't love starting new jobs.
It kind of sucks all the time.
But at least, I know someone this time. So.
Yeah. So you can just clutch onto me and never get away from me.
It's true.
No, it's always very exciting whenever I start a new job. But then when I actually get in there, I'm just terrified that everyone's going to find out that I know nothing at all. And then I'm going to get fired.
The trick is I let you go in first. I let you test the waters. and then I'm like, all right.
Yeah, maybe.
And then I'll show up.
And then I'll leave.
Well, I left first last time.
You did leave last time. It's always a race. Who can leave first?
We are really trustworthy workers.
Very loyal.
And yeah, other than that, personally, I finished MasterChef season 10.
Oh, how did you do that? Did you get an achievement?
It didn't really take a whole lot of work. I kind of just laid on the couch.
No.
And just watched it for 7 hours straight.
Wait, well, did you learn how to cook?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
I mean, you could probably go on MasterChef, and then your credentials could be, I've watched 7 seasons of MasterChef, so I think I know a thing or two.
Well, actually, I only watched one season, so I don't know how prepared. But it's season 10.
Oh, yeah. I thought
it's
you
season
said 10 seasons.
And they stepped it up for season 10, so I think that puts me in a little bit of a better position.
I thought you said you watched 10 of them. I thought you watched all 10, from 1 to 10. But then again, I don't know how that would be possible.
Well, that would be some serious
but I believe
energy. Yeah, so they are actually casting right now for the new season of MasterChef. So I can take my newfound skills
and cook.
Yeah,
become the Master Chef.
And cook. Wait, what are you talking about?
No, wait.
Is that what you do? Yeah. So I guess that's it for my wins.
Yay.
Yeah. So why don't we move on to tonight's topic?
Yeah, tonight's topic. What is tonight's topic?
Well, tonight's topic.
Oh, hold on, I got a great segue.
Do you?
Yeah. Speaking of Keith landing a new job.
Oh, I see what you did there. That was a good segue. This actually, so this topic is about jobs.
Yes, jobs.
And that is because after our talk, a lot of people approached us. And again, they were asking how to get into the job market. A lot of people from varied backgrounds. Some were students looking for their first co-op. Some were going to be leaving school and looking for their first job. International students who had been working in their home country and have come over here and are now looking to get into the Canadian job market.
So what's the interesting part about that too? Is that even though they're students, they have so many different backgrounds, or even just there was one person I think who had been doing designer work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, second careers as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I could call my...
What do you mean? No, you can't.
I was going to say I was also second career, but I just worked in a factory, which I don't know if I would have considered it a career. Not saying that factory work is bad, but had never planned on doing it for the long term.
Yeah, you didn't pledge your allegiance yet.
I did not. I did a lot of recycling, though. Yeah. So I have a lot of recycling karma built up. Yeah, so every time that I throw an aluminum can in the garbage, it's okay because...
It's fine.
I did my part. I'm now allowed to just be a filthy trash monster.
Yeah. I pledged my allegiance to Forever 21 before I became a programmer, so...
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Forever 21.
I mean, I don't know if they're gone yet, but...
No, they declared bankruptcy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have a fallback now.
I don't
That's
have
what you're saying.
No, I mean, unless I just become Forever 21. I could do that. It's easy.
You look far too old to pass for 21. I'm sorry.
I was gonna yell, Mike Chang doesn't look either, but then Mike Chang is not the CEO of Forever 21. Mike Chang is six-pack abs guy.
Yeah, and also like,
but they have similar names.
You're just really like dating yourself here. Is he still around?
Wait, Mike Chang? Or he's back on YouTube actually.
Is he?
Apparently, I don't know what he's doing.
Is he still doing six-pack stuff?
No, he's not. Well, he's not six-pack shortcuts anymore because I think he sold that. I think he cashed that in and then left.
You can
before it got too ugly.
Do you think we can sell DevPlebs? Do you think someone will buy it?
If we can guarantee that all of our listeners can get six-pack abs and the best body and get in the best shape of their life.
I sold my RuneScape account to Andy Mason for $20 in grade 10.
We could also sell RuneScape accounts. Wow, what a business that would be in 2019. It's just farming and grinding RuneScape accounts and selling them off on the black market.
As lucrative as Forever 21. I'm really sorry, Forever 21. This podcast is not sponsored by Forever 21.
It's not sponsored, but please.
Because they have no money to give us.
If you are hiring for a stockroom person, that's always like, that was a title. It was stockroom. It was really awkward telling anyone what my position was because it didn't sound like an actual position.
I am a stockroom?
Yeah, I'm a stockroom person. I don't know. I don't know. And then I would just walk out the floor and people would ask me where a clothing item was and I would just look confused and run away.
Typical stockroom.
To the stockroom. Like, oh, the stockroom guy.
Oh, yeah. One of those creatures. Yeah. No offense to the stockroom guys.
No, stockrooms are great. It was great. It was a good time.
Was it?
Shout out to Nick and Evan.
They're definitely listening.
Definitely listening.
Yeah.
Oh, what were we talking about?
Jobs. We're talking about jobs. So, like, we've been developing now. I've been doing it for a little over 5 years. I think you've been doing it a little over 4 years.
Yep.
And we kind of take for granted, that struggle of the first job hunt. Not saying that it really gets easier because I still struggle.
It still sucks. It always sucks.
It gets, I guess, a little more familiar when you've done it a few times. But, I mean, it's weird, but everyone else seems to scale up with skill at the same pace that you do.
It's really weird. It's like everyone else is a moving person who's constantly growing and changing.
I think right now is a great time to get into development, though. I actually just got an email from LinkedIn the other day saying that 5,200 software development jobs had just gotten added, and I think that was just for the city near us. I don't know why we're so averse to saying where we are. In Toronto.
Yeah, just say Toronto, yeah.
In Toronto.
And
you know what? Vox, have you ever watched Explained on Netflix?
No, I actually haven't.
Oh.
I don't watch too much. I don't actually watch too much Netflix.
Well, basically, they actually just did an episode the other day on programming. And it was kind of weird because they used a really weird metric when they were explaining it. They said 1/3 of 1% of the world are developers. And I was like, all right, that's a weird way to say it, but... And it seemed low because, it just feels like so many people are developing these days.
Yeah, when you're in the field, it just seems like there's just a million people out there doing it.
It's weird. It's just like, wow, all these developers are applying for development jobs.
Yeah, I mean, also, they also specifically just said developer, right? So that's split across software development and, web development.
Yeah, I mean, don't quote me because I watched it a couple nights ago.
I'm going to quote you. Everyone's going to quote you.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Yeah, everyone's going to go, actually...
That's the only feedback we get for this podcast.
Idiot,
like,
Keith.
wow. But yeah, so I was looking up some stats, and according to the Evans Data Corporation, they're a marketing intelligence firm. In 2018, there was 23 million software developers, and they were expecting it to reach 26.4 million by the end of 2019 and 27.7 million by 2023.
Oh, those are some numbers, Keith.
Those are numbers, all right. And the really exciting thing is there's a lot of different ways to get into development now. We did, I guess less the traditional way.
Yeah. I mean,
we went to college, but we went for computer programming, which is just
the most broadest,
I guess
generic. Yeah.
You could say less authentic than a CS degree. They had a 2 and a 3 year option, and it was kind of in the same vein. It's a lot more hands-on stuff, whereas CS you'd be learning a lot more theory. We only had one math class. We didn't have to do lambda calculus. We just fooled around with logic gates.
Yeah, which was good and bad in its own right. I think there were good sides going into it and coming out of that, and then there were some bad sides looking back at it, being like, well, I don't know how to bubble sort something. But I mean, like, I don't really need to do that, but sometimes that props up in some bad interviews. But
a lot of different avenues to pursue into web development, or development in general, I should say. So you have, your university or college. You have your boot camps. Those are super popular now. And some people are just self-learners. Some people just pick it up and study hard and just get in like that.
Yeah, as important as it is to sometimes get the paper, to get your foot in the door, or even just get your resume just kind of like not pushed away, there's more and more people out there who are starting to view that to be less important, or some people are interested in the work that you're doing. So, and with the amount of resources that are available like these days, if you know where to look from the get-go, like you could probably learn. I mean, I'm not gonna say you can learn like way more than you can, outside of school than inside school. It takes a very specific kind of learner to actually do the self-learning at home and get going with that. But there's just a lot of different resources out there that you can be mostly self-taught.
Yeah, and I'm happy I did it the way I did because I had mandatory co-op, so I had working experience.
Yeah, as much as my wallet hated what I did, I needed it because I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to look. I wanted to be a game developer, so I took the computer programming to just have that broad programming experience. I specifically said to a friend during my 2-year program that I hate web development. I would never want to be a web developer.
In all fairness, our school made web development a miserable experience.
Yeah, it was terrible. It just seemed like nothing worked, and everything was just like hanging by these weird loose threads of like, oh, and I just throw this jQuery snippet on the page. I don't know how quick you could teach someone some front end styling or just some CSS, but like, I felt like I never learned anything about CSS while I was in the program, so everything just looked like crap. Or by the very end of it, we knew how to put Bootstrap up and font awesome and just kind of have like a really placeholdery looking thing. But like, yeah, it's not great.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think you need a degree to be a developer?
No, you definitely don't need a degree. I think it definitely, at this point, it still makes it easier once you're going through the workforce and applying places. I think there are still lots of places that kind of gatekeep it with like some kind of computer science degree. I mean, I don't know what it's like in certain positions, but like I get the feeling that even with a computer programming degree that we do have, like some people might turn their nose up at that and they want university degrees or like masters and PhDs, whatever. But
yeah, so I also don't believe you need a CS degree to be a developer. I'll say that with an asterisk. I think there's a lot of valuable information you can learn. I think it makes you a strong developer to have that foundation and background, but I don't think it's necessary.
No.
I've worked with a lot of very brilliant developers that don't have CS degrees and just had degrees in other things, criminology, psychology, and they just went through like a 12-week boot camp and got into development. And they were some of the smartest people I worked with. So it's as long as you have the right attitude and the right work ethic and it is something that really interests you, because I think that's a big part of it. Because I've also met a lot of people that try to get in development because they thought there was a lot of money there.
Yeah, they just view it as another job that they want to just pursue. They were told by someone that it makes a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's another discussion altogether, but they didn't enjoy development. They were just doing it because they thought there was going to be big money there. So,
and then the other part of that is that they think they do all their learning in a college or maybe a boot camp, and they don't get the impression that especially in web development, that you need to continue learning as you are in the workforce, and you just kind of never stop growing, really. And some people don't get that, and they don't enjoy it, so they never kind of grow at the same rate or pace that they need to, and then it affects your work.
Sorry, that reminds me of the last place we worked, and we had a co-op, and we had a monthly newsletter, and for the co-ops and new hires in the monthly newsletter, they had to just talk a little bit about themselves. There was kind of some questions that they were sent, and they would answer them, and they would end up in the newsletter. And I guess nobody edits it.
I don't know how you could have edited. I don't really know how you could have edited what any of what he said.
I'm not going to get into everything he said because I don't.
It's too much.
It is a lot.
It deserves an episode on its own.
There was one question that says, "What do you enjoy most about web development?" And his answer literally started with, I don't like web development.
Which is, that's a bold statement to make as a web development co-op. It's just like, I don't like web development.
And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how confident our boss was feeling after reading that.
Yeah, it doesn't instill a lot of confidence in. Does this person actually want to learn from this, and do we want to hire them going forward?
He was the source of a lot of great stories, though, so I don't regret it one bit.
Yeah, there were some definitely great stories out there. He was quite an eccentric person, and not like in a good way, but I'm not going to go into details.
I don't know how many people out there are looking for their first job or early on in their careers and kind of struggling with the job hunt. So I'll talk a little bit about my first experience. I was working for a company that I co-opted with in college, and they were a startup and things were not looking too hot. I ended up becoming the last employee.
Despite the fantastic promises.
And I was like, that's a little bit of a red flag. I don't like being the only employee. It puts a lot of pressure. So I was looking to branch out, and I was just struggling with the job hunt, getting no responses back from the applications I was filling out, and I was feeling really defeated. So I ended up going back to college just to do a postgrad in big data analytics.
I think you should add another point, actually, is that the thing that you were primarily working with was ActionScript, and there's not many people looking for an ActionScript developer.
It's weird. That's weird. I don't know why there's not tons of ActionScript jobs out there.
Flash is the future.
Yeah, so I ended up going back for postgrad because I was like, I like analytics. I could do this. And I did it, and it was fun. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you seem like you enjoyed it.
But my one professor, he ended up becoming the lead developer on a project, and he was looking to build up a team. And I was actually one of the only people in the class with development experience, so he asked me to join the team, and I did. And that was actually, it was just a complete coincidence, and I got really lucky because of that. Although I did pay 2 semesters worth of tuition to only end up finding a job for the thing I went to college for the first time. So again, no complaints, because it really did help launch my career. And again, it just could be like random happenstance that you stumble into your first job. I've come to realize that networking is a super important part.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most important parts about finding a job is networking.
Which is the part I'm the worst at.
Me too. I'm terrible at talking to people. And even worse at talking into a microphone.
Yes.
Wink, wink.
Everyone can tell.
They're looking at me. Oh, that's harsh.
And again, even after that, like when I had to go through the job hunt thing again, it was just hundreds of applications being sent out that I heard nothing from.
You suck.
I wish they said that.
I mean, that would have been, that would actually be
at least
better.
It would have been a response.
Yeah, it would be better if I got that.
Just constantly getting ghosted by recruiters.
Yeah. Wow. Getting ghosted by recruiters, it sucks the most.
It does, because it is kind of like online dating with a recruiter.
Yeah.
Because they, like, you're talking to them, it seems super promising, and they seem really excited. They're like, oh, you're great. We can do great things together.
We've got your profile set up here. We're gonna find the perfect match for you. We'll be in touch, and they want to Skype call you and everything, and then they just go away.
See, I didn't get even to the Skype stage. I was ghosted before that.
Good.
But yeah, no, getting ghosted by recruiters is just, it's rough, because like the first 3 or 4, like I would get really hyped about, because like they made it seem like they had the perfect opportunities for me. They're like, oh my God, like this is going to be great. I've got such a sweet ass job for you.
And they contact you too. So like you're like, oh, I must be some Mr. Fantastic over here getting all these phone calls from all these recruiters.
They know how to make a boy blush, let me tell you. And then, so I would go home and I'd tell my wife, be like, guess what? New job coming my way.
I'm providing for the family.
That's what I said when I walked. Yeah, those were the words I used. That was the real sentence that people say. And then I would just never hear back from him again. And it started happening like weekly, like sometimes like multiple times a week. And every time it was like the same screening, the same questions, answering it over and over again, only to never hear back. And I get it. Recruitment's a tough job. Mm-hmm. Companies are looking for a very specific thing, and just keep keep the communication open, though.
Yeah.
Because maybe I wasn't a fit for those jobs you had at the time, but just give me another job. I really needed a job.
Just tell me I didn't make
let
it.
me
Just
down.
tell me I didn't make it, and then you'll contact me when you find something else, and then that's all I need.
Please.
I
need to provide for my family.
I'm a provider.
Did you have any experiences with recruiters?
I did. I feel like it's as soon as you go on LinkedIn and you set your little setting there to be like open or looking for a job, that they all just doggy pile on top of you and
hit you right in the DMs.
Yeah, it is. They do. It's funny because LinkedIn's kind of like that. They do. I don't even have mine looking for a job, and I still get a few messages every now and then on LinkedIn of someone like, I feel like it's like a copy and pasted like message of like, hello, like hope this message finds you well, and this person's looking for opportunity. When can we get a phone call? It's like, I stop. Leave me alone. I've had to deal with recruiters. Yeah, it's pretty much the same story. I had a weird, intense recruiter who really wanted to Skype call me, and he would not leave me alone, even though I tried to tell him that I couldn't do a Skype call because I sat next to my boss every day, and it's the only time that he was available is during work hours, and I can't do it during work hours. And I tried to be like, can we just like do a phone call like we're doing now? Like, we don't need to see each other face to face. But he wouldn't let it go, and then I ended up ghosting him kind of. Because I just didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to have to go through that awkwardness. But then he just kept messaging me, wanting to Skype call me for like weeks, and it was really weird and awkward. And if there's anything, if you're a recruiter out there, and it's something you want, if you definitely don't want to make the commission of finding someone a job, don't constantly message them trying to Skype call them. It gets really weird.
Yeah, it seems weird. Also, it would be a really powerful energy if you did take that call next to your boss.
Yeah, it's a power move.
Feet up on the desk, be like, yeah, I'm looking to ditch this place. This place sucks.
Not only would it be a power move to be in a call like about another job, but it's not even a job that you were actually even like a clear contender for, because it's a recruiter who's going to see if you're even applicable for the job or if you're even valuable for the job. Like, it's not like you have like the offer lined up and you're like, oh yeah, I have the offer lined up anyway, so even if you fire me or this doesn't work out, I can go somewhere else. Like, it's just like it's so weird. And that's the most annoying part about getting ghosted.
I think if I experienced that as a boss, the most concerning part would I be like, why are you Skyping?
Stop Skyping. What are you doing?
Why do you need to look each other in the eye to do this?
Just walking into the office, just primping yourself like in your seat, getting everything ready. Just lighting okay in here.
Yeah, that is super weird. And that guy ended up reaching out to you later on and I guess assumed that you were an employer because he just kept sending you people's resumes being like, this is what they're looking for.
Kept sending me like salary expectations of people and stuff. And I just kept leaving it. I thought it was funny.
Actually, it's funny because the exact same recruiter reached out to me. He didn't want to Skype me though. I don't know why.
Must have been something. No, please. Don't do this. Not here.
I'll take this off the podcast. No, so he reached out to me, and he was super ecstatic to work with me, and we went through the whole song and dance and ghosted me. And then, like, 5 months later, he, like, messaged me on New Year's Eve. And he was like, hey, got some really exciting opportunities for the new year. I'm just like, it's New Year's Eve, man.
Do you think he just had like a bunch of like people's profiles open, like ready for that copy and paste, and like a bunch of people like, oh, they're really gonna want to work with me and make them find them a job when they're messaging them on New Year's Eve? Yeah.
So recruiters.
Yeah, I mean, like, they can be useful if used correctly, but just try not to get your hopes up when they start calling you and stuff. It's not guaranteed. They can help, and I've had some interviews after the recruitment stage, but. Yeah, just don't get your hopes up about it.
This podcast sponsored by the recruiter who wanted to Skype. I actually did Skype a recruiter once.
Oh, you did?
I did.
So you lied earlier.
Did I say
Yeah,
that?
you said you didn't ever do a Skype.
Oh.
You didn't do the Skype. You didn't do the Skype with...
Scandal.
Yeah, jeez.
See it on the headlines tomorrow. But yeah, so actually this was when I was in that period before going to my post-grad where I was looking for a job. And my father-in-law, he ran a couple teams, so he was doing a lot of hiring. So he worked pretty closely with recruiters. So he put me in touch with a couple. At the time, it didn't really work out because like they were usually dealing with more senior people, and I was pretty junior at that time. So that didn't pan out, but it was really nice of him to do that. But the one recruiter did want to Skype, and luckily I was not in your situation where, you know, I had a job that I had to commit to for my daytime hours. So I was just at home at the time, and I just Skyped him, and it wasn't super weird.
Yeah, no power moves there.
Yeah. I didn't wear pants.
No, that's a power move.
That is a power move. Also, I just pointed the camera directly at my bottomless half.
Yeah. Only that. Going,
I'm surprised he didn't give me a job. I don't know. I don't get it.
See it? Can you see everything fine?
I guess if you are in that job hunt and you're kind of trying to figure out how to make yourself look more attractive to employers, there's a number of things you can do. And I feel as though there's like tons of articles about this, of like side projects you can do in your free time. And I think it's a great idea. That's usually the first thing whenever I'm looking at someone's resume. I see if they have any side projects, or I'll like, if they have their GitHub link, I'll jump on their GitHub. And it's not a deal breaker for me because I understand people have lives, and, you know, a lot of people don't have the time to commit outside of work hours to be banging out these side projects, especially if they are transitioning careers and they're currently relying on other work. So I get that. So like if you can't do side projects, there's other things you can do that are a little less time intensive. You can join a community. I recently started writing articles this year, which I've really loved.
Yeah.
I feel as though it's a really cool creative outlet that doesn't necessarily require you to develop, because sometimes I just get burned out on developing and I just want to do something else.
Yeah, and
it doesn't necessarily... Oh,
no.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's okay. And I've started doing that too, and it's... What was stopping me from getting into writing was that I thought I had to be a genius expert on a specific topic to have any business writing anything. And there's a lot of people, after I've started writing, seeing people who just are like beginner levels or just like getting into it, and they are just kind of like writing certain things down. And it's definitely a good way to, you know, to have something out there that you can show off to employers. But it also just kind of helps you learn things too, because you end up putting in the research for certain things, and you end up, you know, you write things down and you want to talk to people about it. So it does also kind of help you learn a little better, I think, too.
Yeah. And another great way to find a job is get some really juicy blackmail on someone.
Yeah, so if all else fails, blackmail the hell out of them.
That's true.
Find their Snapchats, find their Instagrams, find every social media, and then just scroll down that timeline and just get down to 2012, 2010, and then just find that saucy material that you can just be like, oh, you're over there, remember this?
So, again, other things you can do, join a community, because that's also another thing I like to look for on people's resumes. Like, if they list a community they're involved with, like maybe their Twitter, or if they're on, like, Stack Overflow or Reddit or wherever they want to be on, just because, you know, it shows that they do have an interest. I had one guy on his resume, his main point was Quora. That was Quora.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
right,
like
Quora.
I think it was like the logical evolution of Yahoo Answers.
Yeah, just strange.
Yeah, it was
strange. It's a strange place to be.
It's like, I love helping people on Quora. It's like, all right. And you know what? I shouldn't knock Quora, because I really do not know a whole lot about the platform.
It's probably just a weird place. I don't know. It seems it's not the first place you go for like web development, like help. It's Stack Overflow. It's probably
This podcast is definitely not sponsored by Quora, but it could be.
It could be if you want to.
Sponsorship is only $1,200 an episode.
Oh yeah, it's cheap. That's true, cheap.
US.
We're in Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
So we make more money that way.
Yeah, I think our dollar is only like 75 cents of the American dollar right now. So we'll be taking all donations in USD.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, a community is really good too, because like one of the things that helps me out is that I don't spend like too much time or like, you know, scrolling through like Reddit or something, or just what's new in web development. And since I've had like a Twitter following, or not Twitter, I don't have a Twitter following.
Yeah.
In my dreams, I have a Twitter following.
Nice try.
All the people that I do follow on Twitter, but that's related to web development, I get a lot of like them sharing like either like different news or different updates to like things that I like, or even like, you know, if I follow people who work with those specific like libraries and stuff, and they'll post like, here's like a new version, here's what we're doing, here's the new thing in this, and that can, you know, that can help you kind of get ahead of the curve sometimes and poke around what's next, and then you can become a little bit familiar before it drops. It's cool, and maybe you can impress some people because
the trick is to just know the bare minimum about things.
Yeah, the name of it.
And just when like someone says something, you'd be like, ah.
Yeah, that looks a lot like the suspense API coming in React.
Yes,
suspense,
I am well versed on this suspense API.
Yeah, it's definitely coming.
Don't ask me about it. But
oh yeah, the fiber. Yeah,
you wouldn't get it.
Hooks.
I don't like all these wet mouth noises we're making.
Sorry.
I can just hear it being picked up in the microphone.
Oh, everyone's gonna love it then.
Yes, that's.
You're in it now.
That's what people really wanted to tune in.
Welcome to Friday Night Wet Noises. Gross. This is not 18 plus.
That is something else completely. Oh, goodness gracious. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, Friday Night Wet Noises.
Disgusting.
Oh, love it.
Quora.
Quora. Yeah. Quora.
Those were tips.
Yeah, those are some tips. Did we
You really made me lose my train of thought with that.
Did we cover everything? Side projects, do them. They're cool.
If you can.
If you can.
No pressure.
As long as
no pressure.
They can all be small. You don't have to make them large. They can all be small. Another thing you can do, it's technically a side project. You can make it count as a side project, is just making a little tiny portfolio website for yourself. And the trick here with your portfolio site, and this is a trap that I myself have gone into, and people also get into this trap of doing, is they over-engineer their portfolio website because everyone wants this like robust application they've made themselves with a full CMS and a full like front-end layer and just everything set up perfectly, so they don't have to do any more changes to it. They can just add their data, and then everything will just magically happen, and everything will flow properly. Everything's structured. And that is a trick. That's how you never finish your portfolio website. I've done it many times. I think the best thing you could do, especially if you're new,
Wix.com.
Wix.com. I mean, honestly, that is one of the options. You could go to Squarespace, Wix, or something if you really just want something out there to just kind of have it. You won't be able to flex on it and say, I built this when you show it off. But it can, if you're not like the best at making something look nice, and you would like a nice thing to have, then you can do that. Another thing you can do, which is really easy, is you could probably just go on any kind of free HTML like template sort of like website. There's plenty of ones out there, and there's plenty of free hosting for static websites that you can just like edit the HTML files to fit what you need, and then just like drag and drop it into a Netlify hosting or Firebase.
That has been like my favorite thing to come out in like the past years.
Yeah.
It's the static hosting. Because
it's great.
When I was in college, you just had to get like DreamHost and just SSH and just like drop files in. But static hosting just makes life so much easier.
Yeah, it's really easy for you to just kind of drag and drop a nice looking static website. Because that's your portfolio website doesn't need to be complicated. It just, all it's going to do is have your name on it, maybe your picture, some basic information. It's going to be basically just a nice personalized resume, really.
Yeah, and Avril Lavigne warned us to not make things so complicated, so do it for Avril.
Do it for Avril, please, everyone.
That's a good point.
I'm sick and tired of feeling frustrated. But
what was that?
I was on the lyrics. I knew frustrated was in it, and I tried to think of it, and I guessed. I went for it, and
you know what? Swing and a miss. That's okay. That's what this podcast is about.
I'm sorry, Avril, but yeah, you can do that. And then if you have a little bit of experience, then you can even make like a little like front end like React Vue or Angular little front end website that's still static and just have your stuff on it.
Or micro front ends and do all three.
Don't.
All right. Well, yeah. So after you do all that, you're guaranteed an interview.
Yeah. As long as you do our 5-step program.
Yeah.
Which costs
$997.
$997.
Was it 5 steps before? Did we say how many steps were in it?
I don't think we ever did say 5 steps. I don't think we ever committed to an actual count.
Yeah, it's an N number of steps.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere between 1 and 75 steps.
Guys, this is a $6,537 value program that we're giving you for $997.
Order in the next 10 minutes, you get 2. I don't know why you would need 2, but you get 2.
2?
2.
You mean I can make 6-figure salaries 2 times?
Yes.
That's 12 figures.
That is impeccable math. I love it.
Rich.
Everyone is going to be so rich and happy, and that will solve how sad the world's been lately.
Wow.
This is this is now a podcast reflecting on society. But yes, so the interview process is probably, I don't know, like the most nerve-wracking part of it all, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult. You know, it's nervous on both sides, I think. But yeah, it's you want to
both sides.
Yeah, like
the interviewer's nervous.
Well, sometimes people on the interviewer side can be nervous if they're not like enough experience enough as well. If maybe they're first starting to do interviews and they don't know what kind of questions to ask or what to do.
I will say I did give an interview somewhat recently, and they told me to prep for a JavaScript interview. So I got together a bunch of JavaScript questions, and like mostly I care more about like their background and what they're interested in, but I prepare a couple things, just to like have a small technical element. I'm not into whiteboard interviews. I don't care about
No, they suck.
algorithms.
Yeah. They don't have. I mean, for the most part, I think in web development, they don't have too much of a place in it unless you're doing anything.
I don't care about algorithms in the interview, I guess is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, like take-home projects, I feel is like the best medium.
Yeah, I really like take-home projects.
But either way, so I just prepared a couple questions for this technical interview. He comes in, he's a Java developer. He knows
half of it.
He was just missing the script.
Damn it.
So every question I had put together was no longer relevant. There was some stuff that was a little more general that wasn't JavaScript specific that I could still stick with, but then I kind of just had to wing it for the rest of it, so I get it.
Yeah, I had a similar situation. It wasn't as detrimental because I was only sitting in on an interview. It was me and my boss at the time, and we had a developer come in, and I had prepped like we worked on a lot of React. You're going to hear a lot of React talk coming from us probably, you guys.
No, I'm only talking about Rust.
Okay. You would. Rust.
You stop that.
But no, so like he sat down. I had prepped a bunch of like React-based questions. And then my boss had asked a bunch of questions, and then he handed it over to me. And I said, like, I can't remember what the first question might have been. It might have been, do you have any React experience? And he went, I don't. I work with Vue. And then I just like looked down at my questions and was like, I was really hoping you would say yes or a number because
I was really banking on it.
I don't have anything else here. So I just kind of like,
we're done.
We're done. And I just kind of sat back.
You sprinted out of the room.
Yeah. He had already done all the personal questions. My boss had already done all the personal questions and other stuff and all like the Node.js backend stuff. So I had literally nothing to say. So
how many push-ups can you do?
How many push-ups? Can you do more push-ups than I can? Let's do it right now. Push-up contest.
A feat of strength. That's how all jobs should be attained.
Sometimes being on the interview side can be nervous too. But what was our point, Keith?
Preparing for the interview.
Preparing for the interview.
There's a lot of resources, I guess, out there that already exist for preparing for an interview. There's a very popular book called Cracking the Coding Interview. I think the thing is, like, interviews are so varied. And we'll probably do an entire episode on interviews. But, like, I've had everything from, like, pair programming to, like, take-home to, like, whiteboarding. So I think sites like Glassdoor are really great in the fact that people can post what to expect from the interviews.
Yeah, you can take a little insight to the company before you actually go in there to do the interview. And you can even do a little bit of research because that's always one of the best things you can do when you're applying for a company is doing a little bit of research about the company because they're definitely going to ask you about certain things, whether you're interested in what they are doing or if you just know what you're going to be in for.
Yeah, make sure that they're not funding any evil groups.
Yeah.
Because that's no good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. And some jobs are actually good for that. Like, I've actually had a couple interviews where they told me in advance what to expect. And that's nice because, like, I feel as though that's how you're going to get the best performance out of someone. If, like, they can be prepared, like, if they know what they're coming into. Otherwise, like, if you just drop a random challenge on them, they're going to get flustered and you're not going to see them at their best performance.
Yeah, that was the best thing I ever heard when I was getting into an interview and the person told me, like, oh, this one's, like, going to be kind of casual, or this one's going to involve, like, some technical stuff. So that way we go, okay.
This one's going to have a lot of push-ups.
I'm going to wear my big boy pants today. It has a lot of pockets, which I need for my cheats.
Yeah.
I need to cheat.
You need to cheat. Cheating is great.
Yeah.
In grade 11 physics class, I had a calculator.
Yeah.
And it had a case that it slid in and out of.
Yeah.
But I wrote all of the formulas on the inside of the case. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Did you get found out?
No.
No.
I passed.
Good. You cheater.
I know.
Congratulations.
Cheating pays out.
Yeah, I cheated.
Cheating
I tried to cheat when I was in. This is weird to say because I was in. At the time, it was year 9 because I was in England when I was at the time.
Wait, you're from England?
I'm from England, innit, mate?
I didn't know that.
Proper, mate. I'm sure, mate. But I had a German class, and we had to write like a little paragraph for like a test. And this was really stupid. I don't know how I thought I could get away with this, but I just had a notebook like at my feet. And I had like my bag kind of like propped like in front of the book so that way maybe the teacher couldn't see, but like it wasn't tall enough and they could obviously see that I was looking at my crotch like for like 50% of the time, and like just like copying it. And then I just sort of lock eyes with like the book down there, and I just try to like put my feet on top of the book. So I got found out, and then I had to retake the test. But the funny thing was that I did the test without cheating, and then I like aced it. And she was like, "Why did you even cheat?" I don't know. I just got really nervous. Don't cheat. That's my rule. Don't cheat. Keith did it. He succeeded, but
it worked out great for me.
He's gonna tell you. Cheat.
I am promoting cheating.
I'm gonna tell you don't.
Yeah, angel on one side, devil on the other.
That's my tattoo.
So, do you speak German?
No.
Oh.
I really wish I did. I was okay at back then when I was a year 9, I think I was like 13 or 14 at the time maybe. And I like German. I learned German a lot better than French.
You spreche Deutsch?
No, do you speak German?
Yeah.
Wow.
You like how on point my accent is?
On point.
I do speak a little bit of German, though. I took it in college, and I tried to keep up with it afterwards, and I do come back to it to kind of refresh my memory. Mm-hmm. I'm not great at it. I'm probably like the equivalent of like a grade 3 German kid, but you know.
You're a big grade 3 German kid, so that's fine. Where are we going with this?
That's a great question.
What are you even talking about?
Cheating interviews. Oh,
help us. Audience, help us.
Someone tweet us and tell us how to circle back to the point that we...
It's fine. We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Oh. No. Never mind.
Oh, wow. That was definitely a notification that came from a phone. Wow.
That was authentic. An authentic phone sound. Yeah. So basically...
Prepping for an interview. That's where we're at. Prepping. Right? Prepping for an interview.
In which I'm going to say there's not really a great way to prep.
There is no prepping.
No, try and do your research. Try and see if you can find information about how the company interviews, because you're going to feel a lot more confident if you know what you're getting into going in.
Yeah, and then just try not to worry about it. Try not to overthink it. So you're gonna blow some interviews and you're gonna nail some of the interviews, and sometimes you can go in thinking you're gonna nail it and then you could just get stumped, freeze, and then it can be really disheartening.
Oh God, I've got a really good story about that, but I'm gonna save it for another episode.
Yeah, you should. It's getting long.
Because that will guarantee that everyone's gonna come back, because they're gonna be like, "Oh, Cliff, I want to know that story."
Oh yeah, there we go. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Tune in another time.
It's very exciting. There's explosions. There's mild nudity and sci-fi violence.
Whoa. Can I watch it in the daytime, or does it have to be the evening time?
How old are you? Don't say your age.
18?
Really? You look 30.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Although Phil and I are 7 years apart in age, but unfortunately in Phil's case, a lot of people think we're the same age.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is maybe because he looks old or because I look young, or if we meet right in the middle.
I'm going to just say we meet right in the middle.
Right in the middle?
So
So,
I don't
like,
have to hate myself anymore.
I look 3.5 years younger than I am, and you look 3.5 years older than you are.
Maybe, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's pretty fair, actually, yeah. People have always said I've looked older throughout my entire life, so... Which used to be really cool when I was a kid.
You could buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
So I guess if there was any takeaway from this, in the end, just know your worth. Because I get that it is very challenging to find a job. It's very competitive. And I'm not going to say don't settle, because, I mean, depending on the situation you're in, I've been in some really financial hardships in my life, and I've had to just kind of take whatever I could get. But if you do have the sort of luxury of being able to be a little bit picky, like, just do something that you know you're going to really enjoy.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to, I don't know, when you first asked, like, your expecting salary to go a little higher than what you actually think you should be paid, because sometimes you can be in a spot where they're going to try and lowball what you're expecting. So the trick is, I think it's a weird song and dance, and it's hard to do even now. But you want to find that happy medium of not trying to ask too much and be crazy, but don't lowball yourself. Like, I've done that multiple times, and it sucks.
Yeah, and like, pick a place that has a positive work environment. The last thing you want to do is just end up somewhere that's just going to work you to the bone and then burn you out. And then, like, especially if that's like your first job, if you just have like a really negative experience, like, you're not going to love developing.
Like, it's nice being able to be somewhere where you can kind of stick around for, like, up to a year. You don't need to, like, run away from it necessarily. You can be comfortable in it, and then you can always look elsewhere while you're in a nice, comfortable place.
And really, that's what you want to get from the job, is just building that skill set. So a workplace that kind of fosters an environment where people are being collaborative, and you're able to work with a lot of cool technologies. It's cool beans.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially if you're out there looking for your first job, like, that's one of the big takeaways you want from it, right? You want to get paid, and you want to learn new things. You want to be enthusiastic about learning new things and finding your specialized area, because that's what you're going to find hopefully in your first line of work, or as you start working full time, you're going to find out what you actually like to work with, whether it's specifically doing kind of like front end development or designing. You could find out maybe that you just like databases a lot. I don't know anyone who does, but
it's also good to be a little more T-shaped and be a little more flexible in your skill set. But there's nothing wrong with just gaining an expertise in a specific maybe technology or platform.
Yeah, it can help you move out, and it can help you move up, and it can help you move out. Is being specialized in a certain area.
So nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Just, and then especially if, like,
unless it's action script.
Yeah, unless it's action script, or unless you hate it.
Yeah.
Don't specialize in something you hate, because you're never gonna like it.
Unless there's a lot of money.
Unless it's a lot, like a filthy amount of money, like just $300,000 salary. Would you trade your life away with that?
Would I trade? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You could put a much lower number, and I'd still.
Yeah. Probably the same.
My price is pretty low. I don't know if that was helpful for anyone. Hopefully, it was.
I hope it was.
I figure talking about our experiences, and I've been giving a few interviews, so I felt like maybe kind of share some of the ways that I see things.
Yeah, and I think, especially what I've learned, especially if you're looking for somewhere in the city that's a bit more competitive, there's a lot more to getting hired than just knowing the languages and the frameworks or being a good developer. There's a lot that comes down to just being a good person and being a strong communicator. And as I don't know, maybe this can sound a bit sad, but it's fitting in does account for some things, like not like you need to fit into a clique and force yourself into a place that you shouldn't be in, but people, when they're hiring for someone to their team, they're looking for someone who's going to fit well with their team, and they're going to work well and get along with. So if you come in and you're a really mean person, but you're the smartest developer in the room, like you're not the strongest candidate.
It's true.
So, not to say that like you need to fit into cliques, but
because like a cohesive team is always going to work better than one single smart developer. I mean, I hope you enjoyed us rambling.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to reach out to us, you can.
Yeah.
We'll let you.
If you have any more questions that you want us to talk in circles over and ramble on about,
or if you have any recruiter stories.
Yeah, if you have any great stories or anything to say about the podcast, we will love to read them out.
Or if you are a recruiter and can explain to us why you like Skyping so much.
Yeah, why the Skype thing. Or if we want that one specific recruiter and you happen to be listening.
That's really what this podcast, why we made it. Because we just wanted to find out. We just wanted to open up that discourse to the internet. Be like, why are we Skyping?
Just why?
It is 2019. Why are we still doing this?
Does anyone even use Skype still? Is Skype still used?
There's Skype for Business.
Oh, really?
I used that with my my last position when I was working remote because it was a Microsoft shop.
Okay.
So they're still holding on.
Mm-hmm. But where can everyone reach us at? We have a Twitter?
We do have a Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you want to say what it is?
Yeah, it's at DevPlebs, right?
DevPlebs. DevPlebs.
DevPlebs.
DEVPLEBS.
DevPlebs. Go DevPlebs.
This podcast is now a Spelling Bee podcast.
We also have an Instagram.
We do. I don't know why.
I mean, it's somewhere we can post images of some stuff.
I guess, but
it's where people can slide into our DMs.
It's true. Well, they can on Twitter too.
Yeah, but isn't that where the slide into my DMs thing came from? Was Instagram?
I don't know. I'm too old.
Yeah, I thought it did.
I'm heavy into my early 30s.
Don't tell them that.
Oh,
we're hip.
We're hip.
We're young.
We're hip with the lingo.
We know the
memes.
Got it. Here comes that boy.
God. All right. Any audience that was with us is now gone. Yeah. So, if you want to talk to us, just reach out to us. And if we like you, we'll answer.
Only if we like you. Only if we like you. But yeah, that's been episode 1 for us. Look forward to every Friday. This is definitely going to go out every Friday.
Every Friday. That's why it's called Friday Night Deploys. I get it.
That's why.
Oh. Wow.
God, that's really good.
It's so clever.
That's really good.
Man, I wish I was as smart as whoever came up with that.
Yeah, me too. I wish we bought that.
It was me.
It was you.
So dumb. Yeah, that's the podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.